Wow, what they're not telling you is that the economy and the housing market are going down the toilet. Right here, US hits 38 trillion in debt after the fastest accumulation of $1 trillion outside of the pandemic. Now, in 2024, Biden added more money to the national deficit than any other president outside of the pandemic years. And now Trump is the fastest to $1 trillion outside of the pandemic, surpassing what Biden did last year. Neither one of them know what the heck they're doing. Right here, US hits $38 trillion in debt. This is why I don't trust neither party, because none of them have the best interest of us here in America, except their own pockets. And right here, if we take a look, the Fed lost access to private jobs data ahead of the government shutdown. So payroll processing, ADT, ended its data sharing with the central bank. Now, they were giving the Fed ADP to private payroll sectors. Remember, that came in negative 32,000 after the government shutdown. So we don't have the government data because the government is shut down. And now ADP has said, well, we're no longer going to provide the Fed with payroll data either. So everybody is just blocking everybody out because why? Well, things aren't doing great. I mean, obviously, we're adding 38 trillion to the national deficit. And right here, world's banking system risks a 4.5 trillion shock from the shadows. Guys, smash the like button, hit the subscribe button. Nobody has your back like Dinko the Realtor. And when you do need a real estate agent in Utah, my contact information is down below in the description. So if you haven't, smash the like button, hit the subscribe button, help this video get in front of more people. And I want to show you how the data in our housing market here is corrupting. You want to stay wild. This just shows you how easily they can actually corrupt and manipulate the data. I'm going to show you this right here. First though, regional banks, and remember, regional banks have been under a lot of pressure because of what they are anticipating from the commercial real estate sector. You can Google it, JP Morgan, Goldman Sachs. They have been anticipating for the last few years for the commercial real estate crash to resemble the commercial real estate crash of 2008, 2009, and possibly even surpassing that. That's why they keep kicking the can into next year, not wanting these refinances, these commercial loans that are bad paper, and we're essentially having regulators looking the other way. Well, now we know regional banks are under pressure and Jefferies shares tank as a concern about sour loans grows on Wall Street. And this essentially is what's tanking the 10-year treasury and why interest rates are also starting to come down. Now, you just see that they're not sharing with us what's actually going on. And right here, if we take a look, the bankruptcies of two auto industry related companies this year have raised concerns about loose lending practices. And what have I been talking for a while here is what's going on with the car industry, that the car industry is not in good standing, resembling the 2008-2009 great financial crisis that was set in motion by the housing industry. Now, I'm going to show you this data here as well. So stay tuned to this because this is just showing how things are. But right here, the rise of shadow banking brings new financial risk, experts say. Well, remember, there's also that shadow risk of buy now, pay later that's not being regulated. It's not reported to credit bureaus, so nobody even knows. And now you can buy food from DoorDash, and Walmart's starting to use it, Costco's starting to use it a little bit, just showing you that things are not in great standing there. Now, look at this data right here. Look at this inventory spike that we've had here in the last few days. I mean, we went from 13,700 homes up to 18,000. What the heck is going on? And this has been happening since the end of last week. So it's essentially been happening for a week, and I haven't had time to call the MLS to let them know why is this happening, for them to fix it, and I will do that, and I will let you guys know. So make sure you come back to the next video because I will have information of what they had to say about this. I mean, how does this happen that for a week nobody is catching this? Now, this is glitching. It's obviously showing an enormous amount of inventory hitting the housing market. Well, if this can happen, they can easily also manipulate the data that we're seeing. And when I try to find what's going on with these cars, with the car industry, it is extremely difficult to find. Now, this right here is again the regional banks. So Utah-based Zion Bank disclosed Wednesday that it lost $50 million on two commercial and industrial loans because of apparent misrepresentation and contractual defaults with respect to loans it made in related to collateral. So they thought that they were making risk-free collateral loans, and lo and behold, they found out the hard way that they weren't. They also filed a lawsuit in California against several unnamed people who had guaranteed the loans. So these loans were supposedly guaranteed, and it's called Incidents of Alleged Fraud, Isolation Situation, but promised to conduct an independent investigation. So right here, loose lending that was happening during the pandemic is now coming and biting these banks in the butt. And right here, finances are getting tighter. On repossessions surge as more Americans default on auto loans. And again, I've been talking about the auto industry, and it's really hard to find the data, what's going on. And they're manipulating stuff. And I've been saying that. And just right here, what's happening in our local MLS Utah housing market. I mean, I no longer can even tell you what's going on because the under contracts, the actives, under contracts are going up, actives are going up, everything is going up. Well, if we had a dump of 5,000 homes, essentially, or 4,500 in a 1 week period, the housing market would crash overnight. So I know that that is not happening. I also look at this data in some other parts, so I'm able to actually track what's going on. But if they're able to do this with just a click of a button, or they're not doing their maintenance that they need to do, how can we trust anything that's out there? And this is for the last few years. What the Fed is giving us, what the government is giving us, what the MLS is giving us, and of course what Zillow is giving us, they all benefit from a great economy, from a great housing market. They make money on the back end of that. So why would they come out and give us actual real data? And now I got to call the MLS and figure out what the heck is actually going on here. But I want to take you back to the car industry. This is something that I've been stressing for a long time. So right here, the alarm bells are ringing on Wall Street. Now there is talks that the government is not wanting to open back up because there is no good news. Essentially, is this the recession knocking on the door, and is it officially coming here at the end of 2025? And right here, a recent collapse, right? A car seller and a subprime auto lender and First Brands, an auto parts supplier, have put finance industry on edge. Almost 2 decades after the problems in the subprime mortgage lending market set the stage for the global financial crisis. And right here, this is important to listen to. Pay attention to this right here. When you see one cockroach, there are probably more. Now, my college job was in Houston, Texas, and that is true. When you see one cockroach, there's definitely more than one. Essentially, he is stating that this problem is bigger than what we are seeing right now. So the JP Morgan Chase CEO right here cautioned analysts this week after the U.S. largest bank disclosed a $170 million charge tied to Tricolor's bankruptcy. Everybody should be forewarned on this one. As the car lending market shows signs of strain, businesses around repossession is booming right now. We're overwhelmed with work, George Baden, who runs Midwest Recovery and Adjustment in Detroit, Michigan, said. You are seeing that things in the economy have been breaking. They have been just swiping things under the rug. And if you haven't, smash the like button, hit the subscribe button. When you do need a real estate agent in Utah, you know who has your back, who's going to keep providing you with this information. And come back to the next video. I'm going to explain to you what feedback I get from why our data has essentially gone corrupt. So come back.